Yes, good morning everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Yes,
Good
Good
morning, sir.
morning, sir.
yes,
Good morning, sir.
yes, Sona,
Good morning.
Gomadi, yes. Study of social process. Every social process or events started with cooperation and continuous competition, conflict. So, which is your life? We have been experiencing any one of the process every minute. Everyone like cooperative processes, which means associative process. Everyone like to live together, but it's impossible by means of disassociative process due to various factors. As we had been learned, cooperation, competition, now conflict. Nobody would not like to conflict, but conflict is part of life, which is the nature of social event. So, what we do to manage the conflict and adjust the social environment away from the conflict. So, fact is that conflict is part of life. We should be managed or allowed to manage the conflict and within the limit to improving the performance and promote productive lifestyle. So, as we had been learned, the conflict episode, latent, perceived, felt, manifest, don't go, manifest conflict, which may ended with crisis. So, within the felt feelings, just to adjust yourself, manage to yourself, to away from the manifest. Then conflict aftermath. Every conflict ended with resolution. Then role of conflict. First, stiffen the moral, which means it's improving the morality, do right. Then promote the solidarity, improving the cooperation, coordination among the people. Then enlargement of victory groups. Every conflict ended with somebody maybe this, break down the relationship. That time that people maybe connect with other people as well as develop their self. Fourth one, redefining value system. After the conflict, we can identify ourselves what are the issues, real issues, and change, adjust in the social life and redefining, and we can feel what's the value of self as well as the groups. Then working out non-violent, so which is very important role. So as we have discussed, the manifest conflict only ended with violent. Manifest means behavior, use birds, beat with each other, you know. So which is ended with the violent. So that's why we have discussed. Within the felt, try to avoid and adjust the conflict environment. Sixth one, change in the relative status. So small conflict help us to identify our status and change our status. Seventh one, conflict may leads to new consensus. Every conflict ended with new ideas. you may experience. For example, we can learn from that conflict and adjust to the social life and create the productive lifestyle. Then effects of conflict. First one, integration effect. Second, disintegration. First, integration effect is that define issues. Through conflict only we can identify what are the real issues are there. Second, resolution of issues. So after the conflict only we can identify the reality of the issues and problems and try to solve it. That leads to alliance with other groups. For example, one group may have creating issues. That time break down that relationship and alliance with other same-minded groups. Then keep the group alertness. So small conflict can help to alert among the members. Second, disintegrative effects. First is that increase bitterness, which means among the members may be lack of interactions and negative thoughts and conflict. Next is that tension. Next most important is that bloodshed and destruction. Bloodshed means murder, injuries, so which is by means of manifest conflict. Then divert members' attention. The conflict, every members in the group love to work in the groups, but the conflict may be divert that this attention may away from the group activities. So these are the effects, integrative as well as disintegrate. Then conflict and performance. Students, this is very important for us for conflict management. Everyone should be love the conflict and resolve it. The reason is that conflict is part of life. Look at this bell curve shows that. Here y-axis represent level of, x-axis represent level of conflict, y-axis represent performance. Look at this is a curve. Low and little conflict cause performance to suffer, which means low performance. If there is no conflict, no performance. Then conflict, look at this, conflict gradually increasing, performance as well as increase. Look at this optimum level of conflict and higher performance. So which means a person adjusts the social environment by means of conflicting, identify the issues and real problems and try to productive lifestyle and try to increasing the production and performance. Then after that, look at this. After the over optimum is over conflict. That conflict may be ended with too much of conflict cause performance lower. So this too much conflict may be called as the conflict may be manifest. The people behave to express their conflict. So we need to manage the conflict within the limit, optimum level and do high performance. In every level, in organizational level, in hospital level, in family level, okay, etc. So explanation, too little conflict cause low performance. Too much conflict cause physical, mental suffering and low performance. Little and medium conflict cause high level of performance. The difference between conflict and competition, conflict involve contact competition does not. Conflict plays on conscious, competition unconscious. Conflict in intermittent process, but competition continuous process. Conflict personalized, but competition impersonal. Is cooperation and conflict go together? Yes, as we have discussed. Where their cooperation is available, there were always conflict we can expect. It's a universal elements in social life. According to Coley, conflict and cooperation are not separated. Conflict is some short in the life of society and progress. For development, conflict is need in the part. Then only we can identify the real issues and develop our self as well as groups. Then cooperation is condition of conflict. Then difficult to eliminate. It cannot eliminate, conflict and cooperation. From the society. It's a part, it's a life as we have discussed. War next. Conflict between two nations. Definition carried out by states, non-state actors. Characterized violence, social disruption, and economic destruction. Effects of war. Cost of war, economy, lost production, killed, soldiers, suffering, individual human suffering, then psychiatric breakdown. Next, social process accommodation. Meaning is a resolution of conflict. The definition, process, man attains sense of harmony. Characteristics, the natural result of conflict. Every conflict ended with, accommodation, adjustment, which means. Second, unconscious activity. After the conflict, unconsciously a person process. Third one is a universal one, everywhere, in family level, in religious level, in economic level. Then it is a continuous process, lifelong. It has mixed of love and hatredness. The reason is that immediately after the conflict, the people love among the members in the group as well as some kind of hatredness. Then methods of accommodation. This is very important for examinations. Methods of accommodation or conflict resolution. First method, coercion. Coercion means threatening to others. Second, compromise, aggregating or agreement between the members. Then arbitration, act of settled dispute, which means use law, legislation to solve the issues. Then conciliation, attempt on the part of third party, which means, for example, in hospitals, conflict between senior nurse and junior nurse. That time medical superintendent or nursing superintendent are there, come to solve their problems, which means conciliation, third person involved too. Fifth one, toleration. Toleration is important method of conflict resolution for nursing mainly. Then conversion. Conversion means change their ideas to solve the conflict. Then rationalization means rationalize, logically thinking to solve the issues. Eighth one, subordination and subordination. Subordination means superior, come to solve the issues in these groups or organization. Subordination means subordinate may be involved too. They solve the issues. Next social process, assimilation. Meaning, observe people ideas. Definition, process. Share the same sentiments and goals. Look at this. In the group, new members are there, come there and share their experiences with. In other words, maybe use the synonym is orientation. For example, when you go to the new places, for example, first day of in the college, our college, first is orientation. We have been share with your seniors regarding the group norms, college norms, and maintain similarity. That is a process of assimilation. Stages is a slow and gradual process. Sometimes before dissimilar becomes similar. For example, when you join in a college, we may be dissimilar from seniors. So that time after the assimilation, try to maintain similarity and follow the norms, maintain the culture of new environment. For example, wonderful example available here, immigrants in America or Europe begin to wear American or European style of clothes. Clear about it? So which means try to maintain similarity by means of assimilation. As soon as they land, so on. Factors determining assimilation. First factor is that, according to Mallover, these factors may be hindrance to assimilation as well as aid to assimilation. Hindrance means resistance. Aid means support. First is that development, the positive development or favorable development help to aid to assimilation, or unfavorable may cause to hindrance to assimilation. Next one is their occupational skill. Occupational skills. If a person having good experience in the hospitals or experience in their job and have easy to assimilate with each other, then the number involves mainly small groups more assimilation than large groups. Then fourth one, physical differences. For example, similarity of difference, the physical environment can easy to assimilate. Any difference difficult to assimilate. Fifth one, cultural differences. Is that, for example, different materials, different language, different belief cause to hindrance to assimilation. But similarity of culture can cause to aid to assimilation. Next, the role of semi-community, such as small groups and large groups, is involved to determine the assimilation. Then adjustment to new environment. The person more adjustable can more assimilate, maintain similarity of the new groups. In other words, hindrance the assimilation. Then difference between assimilation and accommodation. Assimilation is permanent, but accommodation non-permanent. Assimilation is slow process and accommodation is sudden process. 3. Assimilation is unconscious, but accommodation is deliberate. Look at this. Mainly concerning assimilation is permanent one. Every day we try to maintain similarity of their own groups by means of assimilative process. Ninth one is that next section is that integrative social process. What do you think about integration? Integration means coordination, other word, coordination. Inter this every groups, for example, in organization concern, integrate every department, for example, in hospitals. Integration of medical, surgical, pediatrics, maternal health, mental health, like this integration. In the management word is that coordination, okay? Meaning, process make someone accepted. Look at this, integrate, try to, then definition. Strain towards consistency is called integrative process. Consistency means maintain stable in the groups by means of integration. Look at this, people coordinate with each other from every sections of the organization, every members in the organizations. Then problems of integration. The following factors cause problems. First is that complexity. In macro sociology concern, complexity of our society, mainly different religion, different caste, different language, which cause to make problem for integration. Second, cultural heterogeneity, multicultural, cause to make to integration for the society. Then rapidity of social change, speedy changes, unexpected changes cause to problems making. Yes, the rapid social changes, which means speedy change or unexpected social change cause to make problem for integration. Then tendency of persistence or rigidity. For example, people difficult to adjust or they don't like to adjust to their environment, which cause to make problem for integration. Look at this, nowadays online people integrate with each other by means of social medias and digital technology. Then modes of integration. First is that government coordination. Government department and system of organization try to integrate the people. Next, individual behavior. Every individual try to integrate with other groups. Then organization. Organization concerning the educational organizations, economic organization, as well as religious organizations try to involve, integrate people and members of society. Then 10th one is isolation, next to social process. The word isolation is we have been nowadays used in everyday life, is lack of contact. Isolation means lack of contact between persons or groups. Look at this, isolated due to physical environment. Definition, failure of an individual to maintain contact with other, genuine communication where interaction with others persistence. So key word is that genuine communication, failure of communication or contact. Look at this, this is one of the type of isolation due to water type. Physical isolation, physical means due to physical environment, for example water or this other kind of physical environment. Then logistical isolation, which means quarantine, for example in COVID-19, we have been using the word quarantine. So a person should be isolated from others a particular time. So which means incubation period, how much days and separated from others. So which is called logistical isolation. Then linguistic isolation, language. For example, when you go to New Delhi, don't know this Hindi. So we may be separated from that people due to language. Social isolation, due to social factors, including caste factors, familial factors, classes, etc. Look at this island. What do you think about island? It is a land isolated from other land due to physical environment. Then social process in rehabilitation setting. Is social process is available in hospitals? Is available? Yes. So rehabilitation, physical rehabilitation, psychological rehabilitation, social rehabilitation, vocational rehabilitation, maximum of rehabilitations in the hospitals and community setting as well, in social rehabilitation concern in community setting as well as in family health nursing. Look at this, physical rehabilitation. Restore from the physical illness in hospitals. Hospital is a social system, so it has all types of social process. First, hospital cooperation. Every hospital started with cooperative process. Every members and every professional cooperate with each other. Then after that, competition. The professional compete with each other. You know, doctors, nurses compete with among the nurses, competitiveness. Then conflict between doctors and nurses and among the nurses. And nowadays, these nurses and management conflict between due to various reasons. So conflict is part of the hospital. Then accommodation. After the conflict is resolution is there. Then assimilation. Assimilation is everyday assimilation, and newcomers may be experience more assimilative process there. Then integration, coordination between the department and the hospitals. Then isolation, isolative ward. Every hospital having nowadays more important ward separated the patients who are infected by communicable diseases. Example, COVID-19. Role of cooperation in hospital. First role, promote care, ensure good communication, enhance therapeutic effort, then high job satisfaction, then spontaneous interaction, then to stress management. Next, to good healthcare team building. Team building is cooperation is very, very important. Students, the fact is that cooperation is a primary one. If there is no cooperation, we can't see other social process, If there is no cooperation, we can't see cooperation as well as conflict and other processes. So cooperation is a primary one in the hospital. The mainly very important for chronic disease management, cooperation between the client and healthcare professionals to manage the chronic illness. Then role of competition in hospital we will learn next class. Now discussion time, questioning time. Conflict is part of the life, okay? So this is which is the secret of happiness. So when we accept, yes, we need to accept the conflict and enjoy to resolve the conflict. Okay? So everyone should be understand, I would believe that. Next, we will be meet next class. So today, thank you everyone. Have a nice day. enjoy the day. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay.